Angel Reese should get rid of her podcasts. There's not been a single positive story to come out of her having a podcast with anyone she's spoken to on her platform. The Shaq show being the latest example of this, where it is just sprouted tons of negative press and negative attention being brought her way in an unfortunate situation where, Shaq started talking about her wearing booty shorts and dunking on the court under the guise of, oh, this will make you more money and stuff like that. And a lot of people read that as a creepy situation, especially knowing Shaq is kind of a mentor to her. Shaq also, in a business relationship with her, him being tied in as the president of Reebok. And it just is awkward. There's a 30-year difference there, and it does not come off correct. Whether it was, the constant Caitlin Clark clickbait on these shows, seems like every guest, is lined up to talk about her at some point, whether it's Shaq, whether it is Cheryl Swoops. When, it was like she was rolling out the Rolodex essentially of people to talk about Caitlin Clark with Kayla Nicole, where she spawned that whole thing about, the Travis Kelce stuff and got the Swifties on her. Just none of this stuff has really come off conducive to making a positive, making yourself shown in a positive light. The show is called Unapologetically Angel. And, when you hear that title, you're thinking, oh, this is somebody that wants to be themselves, essentially. They want to clear up misconceptions and a lot of things like that. And I think Angel Reese is going to be behind the 8 ball no matter what in a lot of people's eyes. And I guess, Unapologetically Angel is a way to drive the knife in a little bit more. Every week, it just seems like pretty low, lowest common denominator content. No, this isn't something people need. I don't think this is just kind of a celebrity influencer show. There's no real value being, given here. There's no real game, really being given, because really, how much game can Angel Reese give? She's 22 years old. There's only so much life that she's lived. She's got some of her experiences going through college and, recruiting and stuff like that. But it's like, man, why don't she use her show to talk about the game, talk about her path for people that don't know her? But a lot of this stuff just comes down to messy 50-50 partnership, dating questions, gossip, and, the odd, Caitlin Clark comparison, or her just having no understanding of why Caitlin Clark is popular. And this is something that, I saw it evolving. And the first episode I saw was they were holding these microphones that were unplugged in their hands. So production wise, there was just a lack of kind of polish there. And she's presumably recording all of these in advance as YouTube shows. And, I'm not here to tell her that she shouldn't have a platform, but if this is what she's going to do with it, I don't see the point. I don't see how this strengthens your brand. I don't see how this makes you come off as more likable. This puts you in situations kind of every week where, unfortunately, something like this Shaq thing happened. Now it's like, oh man, we really got to have a lot of tough conversations and think hard. And it's going to elicit a lot of sympathy for Angel Reese. And I'm not saying that she is not sympathetic in this case. What I'm saying is, the platform itself has lent this to happen, because it doesn't really seem like there's someone to rein things in there. She doesn't seem like the strongest kind of orator or host, that can basically cut something off before it starts going. And the way that these things are coming out each week just makes for a lot of clickbait. And she's at least given us things to talk about. But ultimately, I wonder, can this thing go, another few months? Can it go another full year every week? Do you have guests lined up every week? Could you do a podcast where it's just her? Is she interesting enough on her own to carry one? I don't know the answer to these. But lining up lots of guests: Lil Durk, Cheryl Swoops, Shaq, Kayla Nicole. There were at least a few more on our show. Dwayne Wade, if I'm not mistaken. And how long before Teresa Weatherspoon is on the podcast talking about, how she went through it with the Chicago Sky, and then that potentially messing up what Angel has going on with the Sky. I just feel like I see all these things lining up, and it doesn't look like it is worth it. Especially, you got a long off season coming up. You are doing your personal appearances everywhere, but you got to make time to do this stuff and shoot them all in advance. And it makes me really question, like, who's this for? Does this make her feel better? Like when this stuff goes out like that, like what is it really? You got a long winter until the WNBA season starts. So that's a lot of guests. You're blowing through a lot of content. You're probably spending a lot of money to produce this stuff. And it just does not seem like it is really fulfilling for her. And this doesn't seem like it is a show that a lot of people are receiving with pure intentions. We're getting a lot of the trash from it. So what do you guys think about Angel Reese's podcast? Have you checked out any of the episodes? I've seen a lot of the clips, and I've watched the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes, but from there it just largely became uninteresting to me. And it is kind of, you see athletes nowadays with podcasts, whether they're in the NBA, the NFL, and all that. Some better than others, and some of them, you're almost like, man, I wish I really didn't have to see it coming across my timeline in this form. Ones like Jeff Teague, like he's a former player. That one's excellent. Draymond's all right from time to time. Paul George, I think, is a really good one. Then I started seeing Tyrese Halliburton, pop up with one. He basically took over the JJ Redick one, and Trae Young has one. This is not a new thing, right? But I think in Angel Reese's case, she has basically injected the drama, or sets up a place for the drama to kind of blossom. And if that's really what you're doing it for, I have to question your sincerity on those things. And it is going to go a long way into making people make decisions on how they feel about her. And once all this stuff is out, I would look for Angel Reese to not be confused about some of the reactions that she gets. And, kind of, all right, this is who you want to be. You gotta kind of pick your lane. Like, you want to be a podcaster that basically gets in the drama and all this stuff. All right, that's fine. But there are choices, and consequences that come with that. Like, it's really kind of disheartening, because I really wanted to try to give her a chance to kind of make something of this platform, but in under 10 episodes, it really looks kind of clear what it's going to be. So before you cast judgment on it, I would definitely check out some of the stuff for yourself to evaluate it. But in my opinion, this is pretty low quality content that is of the fast food variety. There's so many things that she could kind of be talking about. Like, she could be basically talking about the way she became a great rebounder and going, scientifically kind of how it works. And she did dive into, what it was like playing at LSU a little bit, but I think there's more meat on the bone there. And also she's got Caitlin Clark has her own graphics on the show, damn near. So we come on, man, this what are we doing this for, man? So I don't know, man. Make sure you guys like this video. Leave a comment below. What do you think of Angel Reese's podcast? Should she keep it going? Should she cut back on it? Should they rethink the entire strategy of it? Because even if you don't shut it down, I think she should definitely rethink the strategy of it, because this Shaq thing has really become a black eye for just the show itself. And it's kind of sad to see it happen with what Shaq allegedly, his role is in her life and everything like that. So anyway, my name is Rich. I'm up out of here.